Yeah, there we go. Okay, this month we don't have a presenter, so we're just going to have kind of a chat session and a show and tell. That's why I kind of set up out here in the garage. I know my stuff's kind of weird for trains, but that's what I do. So,
No, you're fine. You're fine just the way you are.
Tom, how you been doing? You still building and scale what petroleum fields? What do you call those? Refineries. Couldn't think of the word.
Okay. Was that to me?
Yeah, Tom. You still building
Yeah.
refineries?
Yeah, well, when I work on it, that's when I work on it. Regrettably, I built a little standalone condenser and accumulator for the gas oil, but I can't get it in the. I have to rebuild it. It's a little too large to fit in the under the roof of the. Can I?
Yeah, show it to us.
Maybe I can show it. I don't know what. I'm not seeing anything. This is not a very good camera for this purposes. This is the floor. You see it?
Yeah.
I'm pointing at it, and I'm pointing the camera at it, but I don't know what's. There's no viewfinder or anything.
Yeah, we saw it there, Tom. No.
Okay. I wish I had better equipment, but I don't.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, how many of you are fully vaccinated?
I am.
Half.
That's
Don,
one.
that's 2. I'm halfway. Tom, you're halfway.
Yeah, halfway.
How about you, Lourdes? Have you been back
I got an appointment for Tuesday, hopefully.
for your first shot?
Yep.
Well, maybe you'll get Johnson & Johnson and you only have to take one.
I'd rather take something that is being around for a little longer.
Okay. I Thursday, I go get my second shot.
Good.
And so they say after 2 weeks after your second shot, you're fully vaccinated or fully immune. So I was thinking I might put out in this month's newsletter that if you're fully vaccinated, how about joining us at the community center? What do you think of that idea?
That's awesome.
What about the other new strains of the virus?
Well, the guidelines are, if you're fully vaccinated, if everybody's fully vaccinated, great. But small groups like us, they still recommend wearing the mask just to cover what you're talking about, Tom. So, of course, it's a suggestion. If you think it's too early, we can wait another month.
Whoever thought it would be this long?
Oh, I had no idea either.
Last March.
Okay. So I guess I'm posing the question, shall I invite the group for April or wait until May to invite them back? What's your suggestions?
Well, can we have it hybrid?
We could try that. Yeah. We could set this Zoom up at the counter there and that'll be our first attempt really well, no, it won't. Lourdes and I set up and then at the center, but nobody else was in attendance. But we could do that. We could give that a shot. Set it up both ways. I think I'll I'll put that word out that we can set it up there.
Hybrid would be better because, I mean, not everybody's going to be vaccinated.
Yeah, you won't be quite ready yet.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll put that out. If you're fully vaccinated and want to join us, great, and we'll shoot it from there. And for those that want to show up,
Sounds good.
now we have to get a presenter.
I want to ask Tom where he has a background in refineries, in oil refineries, or do you build those? I mean, where do you get the information to build that refinery? I just helped somebody build this little Walther's N-scale refinery thing, and they're so lame. I want something
They're
more.
terrible. They're really bad. But the Plastron, some models that make sense, you know, from an engineering point of view, but they really don't look like, they don't look in place. I mean, the things are much more crowded than that in a refinery, and these look way too spacious.
Yeah.
So, but the model that I'm working on now, the crude unit, which is the second version of the crude unit, the first unit was met with a bad fate. But this is a marathon oil flow sheet. Now, I tried to get, I mean, even from companies where I'd worked and where I'd unfortunately had not brought home what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's dishonest to bring home, you know, secret documents from work and put them away somewhere in the drawer until you need them. But no one will give you a P&ID, which is the piping and instrument diagram, which is really what shows how
How it works.
where every pipe goes, and that's what you would really like to have. But I just have to make that up to look reasonable, and I look at photographs, and I know what I'd like it to look like from some really great photographs off the internet. But I'd sacrifice truth in reporting to have a more beautiful looking object. But these are, you know, the flow. I mean, back the pipe going from an accumulator back to the top of the tower. That's really, that's the reflux, and reflux always just comes back on one pipe, but for the midstream, for the there's a large number of draw-offs and so on. I have more than one choice for the operator. You know, I mean, usually three. I give him three possibilities. The trays are about 2 feet apart, and he can choose which tray he wants to draw off. But
So you scratch build everything, right, Tom?
well, yeah. I mean, I have some cases. Some of them are jokes, like the you look up air coolers or even vacuum apparatus on the internet, or fired heaters. Fired heaters. There must be just dozens and dozens of quite different looking designs. And so you can play games there and make something that, of course, I'm using the fan from inside of a computer to be a cool exchanger. And, you know, I use sometimes for pumps.
Perhaps you got some pictures you could send to Lourdes.
Well, lots of pictures, yes.
More than pictures, you know, words that I can search on Google, like air cooler, that vacuum, you know, cooler exchange. I just don't know which way to go. I go to the pictures and I see beautiful pictures, but they're from far away and I don't have any really, and since I don't know how they work, it's kind of hard to model.
Nowadays, you know, I wonder, I don't think anyone needs to pay the engineering schools anything. There's so much information on the internet.
Yeah.
There's a whole course in chemical engineering on the internet. And lots of stuff about petroleum refineries. I wish I knew how to leave this, you know, to search the internet without losing the Zoom session.
Yeah, that's okay.
But afterwards, we could take some time and I could, you know, dig up pictures and also some excellent explanations.
Okay, I'll hold the meeting open for you two to exchange that information after I stop the recorder, because we don't want to record everybody's email address and phone number or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
we should do that. Yeah,
I'll hold that for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Frank, how's your doodle bugs doing?
Oh, fine. I really enjoy them. I've added 3 different trains where a doodlebug goes out and then terminates, and then one comes back into the Union Station again. So, you know, give more trains to run. It's just a small back and forth railroad. So a lot more trains to run that way. But I got 6 of them running pretty good right now.
That's good.
I'm
Who
anxious.
made the doodle bugs?
Pardon me?
Who manufactured the doodle bugs?
Oh, these are doodle bugs off of the internet. They go back to Bachman, made in 1997, that I bought on eBay.
Yeah, I've got 2 sets of Bachmann doodle bugs, but neither of them run well. I mean, the tires have come off and been replaced with the wrong, you know.
Yeah,
They'll sell you a bag of tires, but it's pretty hard to know which tire goes on which rim.
yeah, they're maintenance hogs, but I like them, so it
Yeah.
works out for me, you know.
Oh, I like them too. I have one unpainted and one Western pencil.
I switched out the gears, the wheel gears, the front drive gears that have the little cracks in them to the Northwest Short line sets, and they run a lot better. Had a friend help me with that.
Oh, good idea. I better. Well, I guess I'll send them back to Bachman to start with, because they encourage that, don't they?
No, they don't. Bachman doesn't handle them anymore and doesn't have any parts for them or anything. I had to buy some extra ones. They're about $30 a piece. I had to buy an extra one to get parts on for some of them.
Well, that's interesting to know. I've been blaming myself for not getting them back to Bachman.
Yeah, I certainly enjoy them, but you can find some on eBay. They're in pretty good shape, but a lot of them have those little cracks in that plastic gear on the front trucks. And, you know, they run fine, except they just kind of click whenever that turns around.
Yeah, they click.
Uh-huh.
In one direction only, I think.
Pardon me?
in one direction only. One direction runs okay, and the other, ratchets almost.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. But I have a friend of mine that helps me. I'm 84 and I'm kind of shaky, so I don't do a whole lot of that myself anymore. But I have a friend, and he helps me put the new gears on for me.
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you a little bit about what I'm doing. Okay, now, believe me, I'm not even going to try to go into any kind of detail with this at all because I've got 800 hours in this project already. Okay, and I've probably got a couple hundred more. So I'm not going to try to explain it to you. Just show it to you and get some feedback. See what you guys think about it. And what I'm doing is you guys have seen all the little badge cards that, the RFID readers, like your credit card, you just swipe it and it reads. Let me let Bob Ellis in here real quick. Okay. But that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing it for the trains so you can identify your trains. Now, I'm going to try to hold something up here in front of the camera and see if you can see that. See that little black speck?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to put my fingernail next to it so you can kind of get a size of it. See, it's almost a grain of rice, right? A grain of long rice, maybe. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's an RFID chip. Okay. And you can take the truck of a car or an engine, and you can just file a little groove in it, and then you glue that up underneath the train. And what you do then is you store on that chip the information about that train. And why that's useful for me, from my perspective, is that I can now use that and run it over a reader and identify my trains. Now, some of you run N scale, and I've been privileged to go to some layouts. I don't know how you guys read the numbers, on the sites, those N scale. I sometimes struggle with the HO. So this is for me a way around that problem. So I'm building my own readers. So I want to show you a little bit of the hardware here, just so you get an idea. And again, this is prototype. I have a circuit board design, and since I now have a 3D printer, I'll print an enclosure to put all this in when I finalized it. So it's a nice little product. Okay, and it's easy. If anybody wants it, I'll make it available, for everybody for free. So let me move my camera down here and let you see what I'm doing.
Oh, what?
Okay, that's a Arduino chip, the nano chip, which is the smallest one, which is right here. Okay, with that green light on it. That's that nano chip. And then next to it here, this is the interface that lets me talk upstream to my computer. And the computer talks over just two wires, just two old copper wires, nothing fancy. Now, right here, that's the back side. There it is. That's the back side of my reader. And this is the front side with a card sitting in front of it, big white blob, so it doesn't show up well. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Over here are two LEDs. The red one is going to show you that a card is present or train is present. The green flashing one tells you that it's reading that card. So in that nano chip, I have code running, and every 2 seconds, I check to see if there's a card sitting over that reader. So let me count for you. 1001, 1002, blink. 1001, 1002, blink. Right? So that's me reading that card to get that information. So now locally, I have a LCD display screen. Okay, and you're not going to be able to read that very well, but what it does is I print out from that little piece of rice that's underneath. I have stored on there that this is a box car, green in color, and it belongs to Q-Rex, and the road number is 110. So now you have a nice little local display, and you can run your engine over it, and it'll read out all your box car, right? You run it over that reader, and it prints out for you. And so now you don't have to strain your eyeballs anymore. You can have that. And of course, you could mount that little LCD display inside a building and hide it until you need it, you know, for operations. And then just pop the building out of your way. Or, you know, make it a rooftop display, you know how that goes. Little things like that. There's always a way to hide that stuff. So that's the hardware side of it. So I'm going to share my screen here for a minute. And where's my share screen function? There it is. You're going to see a blank screen for just a second. Let me get my mouse over onto the right side. And inside that little nano chip is all this code. And this is written in what they call the C++ language. And I'm not going to go line by line and try to teach you anything about code, but just want you to see that there's a little effort involved in this. You have to define the things that you're going to use, right? So you can see I've got the RFID reader configuration set up here, and I define things for it. Okay. And then I have to go down here into what they call the setup section. And this is code that runs one time when you start the computer up. And it sets up my LCD display, and it sets up my serial port so I can talk out to the reader, and does that kind of stuff. And then let me get on down here. This is what they call the main loop area right here. And this is the part of the code that runs over and over and over and over. So in this loop, I have it where every 2 seconds, it goes to the reader and says, is there a card present? If so, read the card. If not, ignore the reader. And then the rest of the time, it sits there and looks at the serial port to see if my main computer is talking to it. Does my main computer want something from me? So that's what this is doing. And I can debug that by using a serial monitor. Now remember, you saw on there where I was on the LCD, I was telling you that this is a box car and it's green in color and its road name is Q-Rex and its car number is 110. So you see, I'm testing. That's how I test to see if my card is working. I send it up to my main computer and I can check for errors and stuff like that with that. So with that said, let's drop that down. That's what my little card does. Now, on my main computer, let me run my code. I'm surprised. I thought I had that running already. I do have it running.
Nothing on the screen.
Pardon?
Nothing on the screen.
Nothing on the screen. Oh, hang on just a second. Let me find out why. That's because I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. This is the little window that I'm moving around. You can see that okay? This is what the end user is going to see. When you first pop it up, you'll get, well, this welcome screen. And these pictures in here are just little placeholders for me right now. Oh, I have to get my permanent pictures to go in there, but it allowed me to position and shape my screens. And over here on the right-hand side, then I give you a basic introduction, welcome, this is what your program will do. And it will have two modes of operation. And I select that off my menu here. I can use it in standalone mode, or I can use it in JMRI mode. Are you guys all familiar with JMRI?
Yes,
Okay. Well, if you want to use it in JMRI mode, which I'll select, it doesn't do a whole lot. I'll be honest with you. Okay. It has one real function. It has a couple of nice features. In JMRI mode, if you go into locations, all it allows you to do is, whoops, pops up on my other screen. Got to pull it down here where you can see it. It'll pop up this screen and it will show you all the locations and tracks that have been created in JMRI. And that's all it does. It's a read-only screen. And the same way in engines, I can list all the engines. Have I got somebody trying to get in?
Okay, I'll be done in a little bit then.
Okay.
Bye, bye.
So this lets you show all the engines that are defined in JMRI. Again, read only, but it's a convenient feature if you just want to look up an engine or an engine number, what model it is or something like that. And the same is true if I do cars, so I'm not going to list them. Now, it does one other thing. JMRI has a feature where you can use RFID tags, but you have to manually type all that information in. Okay, so what I do is I go out and I grab all these JMRI files and I suck them into my program. And then I list them all of the cars for you that have no RFID tag assignments. And I list them all here for you. And you can select one. It has two features. One, it'll pick that card and it will suck all that information out, what type it is, what model or color it is, the road name and the road number. And it will shove it out to the reader and will record it on your box car or whatever car you've got sitting on that reader so that you can use the reader. Okay. Then it will suck in that RFID tag and record it into JMRI so that JMRI can use it. And then you don't have to do any of this manual stuff and, enter all this data twice. Just enter it in JMRI and push it out to the reader. So that's what JMRI mode does for you. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of programming behind it. Now in standalone mode, I do a little bit more. Okay. Under locations, I let you list all the cars that a reader knows about. Okay. So all these cars are known by that one reader. And I pull it in. And so now you can say, okay, on reader A, which may be your main yard, or it may be your union station, wherever you assign it to, right? Now you can look and see what's in that yard and identify it. Okay. And over here, I let you select different readers. So this may be main yard and this may be Union Station. Oh, I have no cars in Union Station right now. But on reader A, I have all these cars, which I only have one reader set up right now. Okay. So you can do that. You can list all your cars. If you're in manual mode, you have to set an active reader so that your program works with one reader at a time. Right now I'm in my main yard. And now you see I have names that I can use instead of A, B, C, D, and E. They'll eventually be displayed on this screen. I haven't got that part done yet. But down here, I can type in a new name and enter it, you can see it updates, and I can save that change. Now, whenever I go back, that yard will be referred to by that name. So you can give everything local names, okay? If you want to, I give you the option of importing everything from JMRI and then using it locally. So you would do that over here under File. You would say Import JMRI files, right? And then you would say import the files. And I got some errors going on down here. We'll ignore those for right now. Won't let me out of it now. So I have to go down here in my debugger and get out of that and restart it. As you can see, I've got a little work to do.
Very impressive.
I'm not going to bore you too much with it, but just so you can see one more highlight of here. Then I say you can link those JMRI readers to locations by track to a reader. So here you see I have Laura Coal Company, and I've assigned Laura Coal Company spot 1 to reader A. Now, if I want to, I can go over here to reader B. You see reader A, Laura Coal Company number 1 disappeared because it's already been assigned. But I could assign spot 2 to reader B, right? Now you see here on reader A, spot 2 has disappeared. So anything that's been assigned will disappear. So nice features where you can now use the JMRI terminology, and that saves you again from having to type all that information in manually. You can just pull it in from JMRI if you want to. Here, this one, if I go to standalone mode, engines, in JMRI, and everywhere else in the world, if you make up a manifest, it's called a train, right? As soon as you hook things up to an engine, it's a train. Well, to keep the terminology separate from JMRI, I use the term engine. So I let you create an engine, assign an engine to a location or a reader, okay? And then when you pull a car over that reader, you'll hit a little toggle button that says this engine is sitting on this reader. And then my program will say, okay, anything that comes in from that reader, I pay attention to for this engine. And so now you can either pull a car or drop a car, right? And so if you're going to drop a car, you run the car over to reader, you hit a toggle switch that says drop, and it takes it off that engine and assigns it to that reader. And then you just leave it there. And then you go in the yard and you pull a flat car, right? And you run it over that reader and you say, pull, and it takes it out of that yard and puts it in your engine. So now you can track, and see here, I have an entry that says list cars and engine. So now you can quickly click on that and see everything that's in that engine and compare it maybe to your JMRI list and say, oh, whoops, I shouldn't have picked that one up. I got the wrong car, right? And put it back and go get the right car, right? And things like that. So moving a little bit quicker here, I can set the active reader. I can add a reader. I can have 25 readers on all serialized out there. So in 25 spots around your layout, you can have these readers, right? And I can delete a reader, okay? If I take one out of service, I can delete it. Here, under cars, in standalone mode, if you're not a JMRI user, I let you manually enter the information. So you can tell it, what type of car it is, road number and all that. And when you hit create, that will send it out and record it on that little seed on the bottom of that train, so that every reader it runs over, you get that nice display that tells you what this car is. And notice I even put the owner slot in there, so that if you bring trains over to my yard, to my layout and run around, and it's time to go home, and we have two of the same engines, we can run them over a reader and say, oh, that one's mine. Yep, that one's yours. Okay, so we get to keep track of our own rolling stock that way. But I'm having a lot of fun. That's what the program does. This is the place where I write all that programming for the screen I just showed to you. Okay, the program itself. Now this is written in a different language. The code, the Arduino chip uses C++ programming language. JMRI is written in Java. I've never written a Java program before, and it is a nightmare. So this little program here is called Jthon. Okay, which is Python written for Java. So I'm writing it in 4 languages, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you. And I'm learning all 4 of them at the same time. And that's why I've got a lot of hours in it, because I've struggled to figure out the syntax and everything as I go along. But it's been a wonderful time. I've enjoyed it. So with that said, let me see if I can unshare this. Get back. Yeah, there we go. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much with that, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's train related. And if you guys, when I get it done, if you guys want a copy of it for your yard, I'll be glad to make it up and come help you install it. I think I can. There's a lot of this going on. I studied it on the internet. A lot of people are using it, and for operations, I can see, man, this helps out a lot, especially N scalers. Frank, I know you're thinking of Johnny and his N scale and trying to read his cars.
Yeah, we tore all that down the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, about 90% of it. Got to go back one day next week and finish it up,
Uh-huh. What did he elect to do with his layout?
Well, of course, his wife has decided that she doesn't want it. And so she's got a whole bunch of cars that are going to be for sale down at Papa Ben's and so on, and engines and stuff like that. And the rest of the railroad, we tore it all down, and it's in the backyard now in a big pile. And it's a shame. It was a lot of fun. It took years for him to build it, but
Yeah.
She's wants to move back home now that he's deceased. She wants to move back home, and so we're helping her get rid of the railroad so she can sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing lasts forever.
No. We're lucky if we get them done before we die.
Yeah, I'm not done with mine yet, that's for sure.
Well, I'm being foolish. I'm trying to start number 3, but this one, I've decided I'm going to do a prototype of a train that ran here in Texas. It went out of business. I think it was in 1934. It went out of business.
Oh my gosh.
But there's a man. Oh, I can't even think of the name of the town. It's terrible when you get old, isn't it? But he lives north of here, and he has the actual trackage for that line, the actual real trackage. So I'm going to go see him and get that, and then I'll be able to drive around where the trackage was, and pick out things of interest to put into that layout. So instead of freelancing, maybe, I thought maybe I'd try to actually represent a railroad this time.
It's a wonderful idea. It's a wonderful idea.
So,
Give you plenty to do too and enjoy.
yeah, I'm gonna have to compress it to fit into my little space here.
Well, I'm sure you can do it. Oh my. Are you going to tear down what you've got then, you think? Or
I've already tore down everything. I've got it in storage. You know, I saved all the
Oh.
track and switches and all the buildings and everything, you know, because I don't know what will be appropriate when I can reuse in the next layout, you know. And once I kind of identify what I can use, you know, I'll keep that, and then I'll either donate to JC's school train club,
Uh-huh.
or maybe sell some of the stuff.
Well,
But
your railroad was beautiful. Your detail and everything was really outstanding, I thought.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy it. My wife gets together with me. She loves to work on the scenery aspect of it. She, you know, she's not like me. She's not into the electrical. I'm an old controls man. I made my living doing that. So
Well, good for you. I know it's going to be wonderful when you get started on it. Give you plenty to do and keep busy.
oh yeah, but it's sure going to be nice to get out and share it, and get with my buddies, and you know, build the enthusiasm, get back into the groove. You know, there's
Right.
that camaraderie that you just can't replace it.
That's right. That's right. Johnny's been coming over here every Tuesday, as you know, for about 9 years. And boy, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have a session, be the first one that he hasn't attended. And it's really kind of shaking all of us up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I just got to know Johnny for close to a year, I guess, but I miss him. You know, he
Of
was
course, yeah.
a lot of fun to be with.
Yep. Yep. Well, life
Hey,
goes on. Mhm.
anybody else got something else they want to share, talk about? Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this recorder off as soon as I can get my little button here to come on, get out of the way, screen.
Okay. Can you tell us how to leave Zoom and
Yeah, hang on, Tom. Don't leave Zoom. I'm trying to turn off the recorder.